Hi, this is Mike Maduda and you're listening to the ZiFM Sport Podcast.
Zimbabwe's finest radio. ZiFM Stereo.
It's Lionel Messi! He scored! The goal the world wanted!
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch and it's in! And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scene!
The biggest interviews.
It's more difficult. Obviously, it's more difficult.
And all the analysis right here.
If they play poorly, they come back, they've got all excuses. You can't have it both ways.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
We love our Mondays right here on ZiFM because we get to pick apart the weekend that was in the world of sport. The weekend that saw Messi mesmerize and astonish in equal measure. The weather, which has been so bad to the nation, coming to the rescue of the Tuskers and seeing them land some silverware in local cricket. We'll also have a splattering of other stories, the leading ones from the weekend. A good start for Mercedes, not Hamilton, but Bottas. Those are some of the stories on today's edition, and the top team to bring you those top stories consists of Chris Gray, Alois Bunjira, Barry Manandi, Sean Tafirinika, and of course, my name is Mike Madoda.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
The Tuskers were crowned the winners of the Domestic T20 competition, having finished top of the round-robin points table after rain washed out the final at Harare Sports Club yesterday. Craig Irvine had another fine innings with a knock of 55, not out in conditions that were difficult for run scoring. Rain interrupted play on and off throughout the day, and in the end, before the Tuskers innings could be finished, the rain set in for a long period, which led to the final being abandoned. So the tale of the tape consists of one team's batting effort, and that is the Tuskers, 113 for 5 in 17.2 overs. Craig Irvine with 55 not out, Brian Chari 27, Milton Shumba the next best scorer with 8 not out, and then the men that did the damage for the Mountaineers, Roy Kaia snaring 3 for 8, very good bowling outing for him. Donald Tiripano 1 for 19, Victor Nyauchi 1 for 20. The Mountaineers, because of the rain, did not bat in a match. They would have fancied themselves to get over the line after that rather modest effort by the Tuskers. The match was abandoned, and as a result of how things stood on the table, Barry, in the round-robin format, the Tuskers were crowned champions, unlikely victors.
Absolutely unlikely victors, and also I think unlikely, especially given their efforts in this match. 113 for 5, not necessarily a world-beating score. And listen, they still had a few overs to play before the rain sort of broke play. But you got to think to yourself, even if they got to about a 150 or anything like that, that was below par, and the Mountaineers would have been backed to certainly catch that out. A positive for the Tuskers also is that they welcome back Sikandar Raza. He's had many sojourns in the world of T20, but back in the country now.
Just a reminder, Chris, of the importance of those round-robin games. You know, sometimes we think it's all about getting to the final, but in this case, and I know it's a one-off and it doesn't happen regularly, but it comes to the favor of the Tuskers because they did the business in the group stages.
Absolutely, and it's really important to start well, and in this scenario they started well, and as a result they managed to finish well. So in this format, I think teams relax a lot less in the initial stages, and as a result, when it comes to the final stages like this, it kind of pays off.
Barry, surprised that the Tuskers were able to be victors. I mean, we saw them shakers in the 4-day Logan Cup competition, and they improved somewhat, in the Pro50,
yeah.
but for them to be standing on top of the pile in the T20 speaks something of their resilience, speaks something of the character of these lads.
Well, I think if you get them on the blower, you'll find that they were surprised as well that they went all the way. They'll never admit it, but certainly surprising to all of us in the studio, because in truth, they weren't necessarily the form team. They wouldn't be the team that the punters would back at the betting houses, but getting there in the end. And as Chris pointed out, good start, good finish.
Does it speak into the fact that we may have players that are cut out for different formats? Because we are seeing them fail ignominiously where they fail to win even a single game in the 4-day format.
Yep.
We see a marked improvement in the 50-over format, and then they're champions in the 20-over format, which means that they could have players that are better suited to the hacking and slogging of T20 cricket as opposed to the patient game that characterizes, of course, 4 and 5 day matches.
And I would like our selectors to be a lot braver and certainly pick some of these boys, not only from the Tuskers, from the entire all the teams that participate in this competition, because we don't necessarily have to field the same teams, as it were. I think our T20 team has to be specialists who can put that thing over the rope and get the runs on the board. So if we can find players of that ilk and that nature, we can certainly be a competitive T20 team.
Alois, the Mountaineers, of course, that's your team. You're from Manicaland, and to be honest, it would be remiss of us not to talk about what's going on in that part of the country. And we obviously, of course, feel for you with your connections out in Ahonde Valley. Heard anything? I mean, any concerning news? Any encouraging news? I mean, what's happening out in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, the encouraging news is that it has been calm from this morning, but they're still trying to get close to Chimanimani. You know, it has been very difficult to access Chimanimani because all the bridges virtually that connect the world to Chimanimani have been washed away, but they've been trying makeshift bridges and all that. But Chipinge has been better, but still it's the same thing. When the valley where I'm actually from hasn't been really affected. It was just rains just like here in Harare, but there is a possibility that they might receive more rain. So I saw the Honorable Sarwaka, the MP for Mutasa Central. He sent a circular saying that everybody in Mutasa must be prepared. Must be ready. Yeah,
just in
anything
case,
can happen just in case.
The rains to come in.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's hope that it doesn't. But for now, it's calm in its rescue mission at the moment.
And of course, Chris, as the ZiFM series, we've been getting involved in some of the efforts being made to fundraise, to collect stuff for the needy out there.
Absolutely. And we've been collecting since morning. A lot of things have come in. We've had to find a specific area of the station to actually put all of these things in. And I want to give a special mention to a gentleman who actually brought a truckload of things just as an individual. His name is Ryan, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Shonkin. Ryan Shonkin brought in an entire truckload of things early this morning to help out with this, and we're just calling on a lot more corporates as well to step up. We're seeing a lot more people step up this morning, but we're gonna need a lot more just as a country, because in as much as they need relief now, you have to consider that for the next 3 months or so they're still gonna need our help. So we definitely need to step up.
Absolutely, Barry, and of course everything counts at this stage. You know, whatever is brought in will make a difference in someone else's life.
Every little bit counts, because I think if you can imagine that entire households were swept away, that means food, clothing, everything that someone considers their life has been swept away by the rain. And listen, they're grateful that they're alive, but they need a lot of our support. So anything that you can bring through certainly counts.
And of course, for far too often, sports teams have been the ones moving around with the begging ball, as it were, seeking for assistance, seeking for sponsorship. Now it's time to put your hand up. So we're encouraging everyone out there, whether you are in a school, a sports club, whatever team that you play for, get together, band together, try and bring something together. And of course, you can drop it off at the different collection points around the country. It's not just ZiFM that is involved in this effort. It's a collective Zimbabwean effort. Let's back Manicaland. Let's get behind those that have been disenfranchised, those that have been affected out in Manicaland. This is ZiFM Sport. If you didn't know it, it's not a news bulletin. We are giving you the top sports stories from the weekend. 0731168045. That's WhatsApp. The same number you can send your pro feeds hashtags to. Coming up, we've got a local sports news roundup, and then we go international with our sports news, where we take a look at Wales' fantastic victory in the Six Nations Rugby.
Hi, this is Benjamin Locke. I'm on the Zimbabwe Davis Cup team, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
And in our local sports news roundup, we got some football news concerning FC Platinum, some swimming, but we start with tennis, where Zimbabwe's leading junior tennis player Thabo Ncube clinched his first International Tennis Federation ITF Junior Circuit title with a 6-4, 6-1 win over compatriot Ethan Siwanda in the final of the ITF 18 and under South Central tournament in Bulawayo Country Club. The win in the singles meant 17-year-old Ncube, who trains with Pro World Tennis Academy in Florida, United States of America, completed a double in the highly competitive tournament after partnering Tatenda Mtetwa to win the doubles title. Ncube and Zimbabwean-born Mtetwa, who competes under the South African flag, beat the pair of South African Andreas Scott and Tinashe Taruberekera 6-3, 6-7, 10-6 in a tightly contested doubles final. In swimming news, Mashonaland Province defended their national junior swimming title in style after winning 103 medals at this year's national finals at Petra Primary School in Bulawayo. Yes, you heard me right, 103 medals. Now, the two-day event, which attracted 5 provinces, saw Mashonaland Province being crowned the national junior swimming champions for the 5th time in a row. Mashonaland won 45 gold, 32 silver and 26 bronze medals with a combined team points of 1,265 ahead of the runners-up and host team of Matabeleland, who had won 7 gold, 22 silver and 17 bronze medals with 661 points amassed. In football news, FC Platinum coach Norman Mapeza says his team has learnt a lot in the CAF Champions League and they are ready to roll in the local premiership. Pure Platinum Play made it to the mini-league stage for the first time in this edition of Africa's premier club knockout competition after failing to progress to the group stages in previous attempts. Mapeza's men left the competition on Saturday winless in their group and with just 2 points from a possible 18 following their 2-1 defeat to Tunisian giants and defending champions Esperance at Barberfield Stadium in the great city of Bulawayo.
Qualcomm, the home of great food, celebrates its 75th birthday. As a thank you to all our customers, we have amazing price cuts on all your favorite products. Enjoy unbelievably reduced prices on our frozen boerewors, breakfast and ready-to-eat sausages. Celebrate 75 years of wholesome, tasty goodness. Available at all leading retail stores and Qualcomm shops nationwide. Qualcomm, 75 years of greatness.
Tiles is celebrating its 25th anniversary and we are slashing prices by up to 20% on all our ceramic tiles, porcelain tiles and our laminate flooring. Yes, you heard right, 20%. Visit us at 5 Samora Machel Avenue and our state-of-the-art showroom and fully stocked warehouse at 80 Simon Mazoredze Road. Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Don't miss out on this crazy offer. Hurry while stocks last.
Need mileage for your business? La Decima Print House is your all-in-one printing solution. Your one-stop shop litho printing for all your flyers, brochures, newsletters, church posters, company profiles, annual reports, all quick BizHub digital stationery printing, dissertations and general, photocopying services, HP large format printer for office signage branding, vehicle branding, and banners, DTG M6 industrial digital t-shirt and fabric printing, corporate gifts, and many more. La Decima Print House has packages that can be tailor-made to suit your business's unique printing needs. To place your order, call La Decima Print House on 0772 413 603 or 242 446 466 or visit us at Unit 9B, 75 Roberts Drive, Masasa, Harare. La Decima Print House. If you can think it, we can ink it.
Here we go again.
Enjoy world-class radio online. ZiFM Stereo is available on TuneIn. Search for ZiFM Stereo and you got it.
From the front of the grid to the back of the net, it's ZiFM Sport. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
Okay, we have rugby in our international sports news feature. But before we get there, we just want to remind you to keep those hashtags coming in. If you are a daily winner in our Pro Feeds Daily Trivia, you could win yourself a 4-plate Capri gas stove and oven. The draw for the month of March is going to be on the 29th, okay, on Friday the 29th. So you want to get those hashtags coming in. The number 0731 168-045. I nearly forgotten that.
Had you forgotten the last
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's get to the rugby. Wales boss Warren Gatland hailed players who, I quote, will run through a brick wall for you, close quotes, after they demolished Ireland 25-7 to be crowned Six Nations Grand Slam champions. Wales made it 14 games unbeaten and gave head coach Gatland a record third clean sweep in his final Six Nations game at the helm. And outstanding Gareth Anscombe kicked 20 points, 6 penalties, and the conversion of centre Headley Park's second-minute try to sink Ireland in swirling rain under laden skies on an afternoon when the visitors insisted the Principality Stadium roof remained open. Let's hear from the Grand Slam winning coach Warren Gatland.
Yeah, look, it was a great performance today, and the boys thoroughly deserve it. And beforehand we said it's about them today. It's about them and their families. Creating history, winning a Grand Slam, things that no one can ever take away from you. And I thought they were exceptional in the way that we managed the game. Our physicality nullified what have been a lot of Ireland's strengths in terms of scrum and line out and runners off 9, which they get momentum from. And our turnover rate, compared to them, definitely gave us that dominance, particularly in that first half.
And with that, of course, Wales climbed above Ireland to hold second spot in rugby's official world rankings, and they will head to the World Cup in Japan later this year, which, of course, is Gatland's swan song as major title contenders. And we all talked about England, we talked about Ireland. Yep. Very few tipped Wales, and they've come through once again to defy the odds.
Yeah, absolutely, and how the Grand Slam. That's how you do it. And also, I think the leadership of Alan Wynne-Jones can never be discounted. Absolutely. Alan Wynne-Jones is absolutely formidable throughout the tournament. A man mountain, and in this game was absolutely astounding.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
He's the type of character you expect to see like in Game of Thrones. He'd fit in.
Absolutely.
He'd fit in
like
that face. He'd fit in.
No makeup required.
The Hound.
No makeup required. None whatsoever. He is an absolute man mountain, and I think his contribution to the team cannot be discounted. Obviously, Hanscom did absolutely fantastic with the boot, but any time that you can kick as well as Anscombe did with Dan Biggar on the field, you deserve to win the Grand Slam. You absolutely do.
Absolutely. And of course, the man who was doing all the business with the boot is Gareth Anscombe. Gareth Anscombe, of course, was captain of the Baby Blacks, the New Zealand schoolboy team.
There we go.
And because of his grandparentage, was able to switch allegiances when he realized that he was never going to be an All Black. He was able to switch to play for Wales. So they look like they've got themselves a steady performer at fly half there. But Chris, taking a look at Ireland, they came in with a lot of expectation, a lot of guys with high hopes for Ireland after they defeated the All Blacks at the end of last year. But it's all kind of like tanked.
It's all kind of like tanked, and I think with the World Cup looming, a lot of people are then going to make a lot of assumptions and assertions from that and extrapolate that to say, you know what, with the World Cup coming up, is this where we're going to put our money on Ireland? But from the looks of this particular one, no.
Yeah, just taking a look at the rest of the final round results. Scotland came from 31-0 down, only to see their hopes of a first win over England at Twickenham in 36 years dashed in stoppage time as a remarkable Calcutta Cup clash ended in a 38-all draw. I mean, what
a performance.
I mean, 31-0 down. Guys, they put themselves in a winning position and then they conceded late on to England. Yeah, I mean, that for me was the performance of the weekend.
For sure.
And then France finished their Six Nations Championships on a winning note with a 25-14 victory over Italy in Rome. The final standings: Wales in first place on 23 points, England in second on 18, Ireland in third place on 14, France had 10 points in fourth, the Scots had 9 points in fifth, and of course, as always, the wooden spoon goes to Italy, 0 points from their 5 outings.
Certainly. Shall we go through the top 10 World Rugby rankings? New Zealand out in front in first, and second is Wales, third is Ireland, fourth is England, fifth is South Africa, in sixth is Australia, seventh is Scotland, eighth is France, and ninth Fiji. In 10th position are the Pumas of Argentina. Quick update on the Super Rugby results from this past weekend. Lions prevailing over the Rebels 36-33, Reds beating the Sunwolves 34-31, Stormers 35-8 over the Jaguares, Brumbies 19-13 over the Waratahs, and the Chiefs and the Hurricanes playing out a 23-all draw. And then the game between the Highlanders and the Crusaders was cancelled or postponed because of the terrorist attack that took place in Christchurch.
Hi, my name's Ryan Cairns, Sunshine Tour professional golfer, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
We're here from Florida, where Rory McIlroy revealed his recent run of near misses helped him get over the line as he returned to winning ways at the Players' Championship in the Northern Irishman. The Northern Irishman carded a 2 under 70 in the final round at TPC Sawgrass to claim a one-shot victory over Jim Furyk. It's McIlroy's first win since last year's Arnold Palmer Invitational, and he admitted he had drawn on his recent tournament experiences as he overcame a double bogey at the 4th and then recovered from a bogey at the 14th with birdies in the 15th and 16th and a 2 rock-solid pars at the 17th and 18th. Over to California, where Dominic Thiem denied Roger Federer a record 6th Indian Wells title, beating the Swiss great 3-6, 6-3, 7-5 on Sunday to claim his first ATP Masters 1000 crown. The 25-year-old Austrian had fallen in 2 prior Masters finals, both in Madrid, but he rallied for a third career win over Federer in 5 meetings, his first over the Swiss on hard courts. On the ladies' side, Canadian sensation Bianca Andreescu became the first wildcard to win the WTA title at Indian Wells with a gritty 6-4, 3-6, 6-4 victory over Wimbledon champion Angelique Kerber. And touching down in Melbourne, Valtteri Bottas has left stunned by his Australian Grand Prix victory, which he called definitely my best race ever. Bottas dominated the season opener after getting ahead of Mercedes teammate Lewis Hamilton on turn 1 at the start. It marks his first win since the 2017 season finale in Abu Dhabi after bad luck and poor form at the end of the year left him winless in 18. Bottas won the race ahead of Hamilton, who finished second, and Max Verstappen, who came in third.
ZiFM Stereo is untouchable.
It's competition time. Simply
is brought to you by ProFeeds. ProFeeds, your feed and farm professionals.
I went in early. I like it.
You did, Michael.
It's competition time.
You're excited. You're excited.
Rather premature. Yeah, I was going to say something else. But, it
family show, guys.
Yeah, it's a family show, yes. Simply send us your WhatsApp message with the hashtag ProFeeds Trivia, and you might be the one lucky listener we get to call back. You'll field 2 questions, and if you get both correct, you'll be our daily winner and in with a chance of winning a fabulous prize, a 4-plate Capri gas stove and oven. Our second draw of the year will be on Friday, the 29th of March. And of course, before we get to the questions, Chris, lots of exciting stuff happening around ProFeeds.
Absolutely. So we're going to be holding our prestigious ProFeeds Arlington International from the 12th to the 14th of April 2019. So a chance to get in on a little bit of a different action. So this is the premier event in the Eventing Equine calendar with 6 countries. So that includes Zimbabwe, South Africa, Zambia, Kenya, Swaziland, and Namibia. And also these countries participating are from the Fédération Équestre Internationale, the FEI. It's going to be $5 to get in per head each day, and also full bar and catering available. You're welcome to all 3 days. High octane entertainment, lots of thrills, hopefully no spills on offer, and you want to bring your umbrellas, chairs, and come and enjoy what is on offer from Africa's finest equine athletes, and expecting between 130 to 150 competitors in the various categories. So it looks like a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, a whole lot of fun. Barry,
I have
flipping
a
over?
question.
Yes.
You say there are a lot of equine athletes. Who are the athletes? The Biza or the ride?
No. It's the person, obviously, Barry. Because the horse is controlled, isn't it, by an athlete?
But the horse is doing the performance.
Yes.
So is the horse not
But
an athlete?
who trains it?
The trainer.
Yes.
Is the trainer the athlete?
No, Barry.
Who is the athlete?
Yes, thank you, Butch. Who is the athlete?
The athlete is the guy
The rider.
on the horse, guys.
Yes.
The rider.
But the horse is...
But the rider's just sitting.
Yes.
No,
He's not. Guys, this is a proper athlete. Have you seen those people?
Alois, if you think it's just
He's sitting and hitting that thing.
No. Because
Guys, this is not an electric bull, hey? This is a real horse.
if it was like that, then you and I could do it.
We need to get the team at Pro50.
First of all, you are too heavy, first of all.
And make sure that they let us know who is the athlete. Is it the horse? Or is it the combined element?
No, it's the person, Baz. Come on. Let's get to the quiz.
All right. Who have we got on the line? Let's ask our producer, Sean. Hi, how are you?
Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, they've disappeared.
It's no one there.
Hey.
Hello?
Sean's failing to press the buttons today.
Oh, like nobody.
Hello.
Okay, no, doesn't sound like there's any. Oh, there we go. We lost them.
Yeah.
We're going to try one more time, of course.
Yeah.
So we're going to try and get them on the horn and see if we can, of course, afford them that opportunity to win a fantastic prize, a 4-plate Capri gas stove and oven courtesy of Pro50.
But to answer your question, Michael, I think I may nip in. I certainly like the equine events. They have a certain amount of dignity about them. And so
What do you mean?
I'm going to go.
Not like the football field, hey, Barry?
No, you see, you're trying to turn the football fans against me. No. All
So
I'm
what
saying
you trying
is
to
that
say?
it's really nice to watch. And I used to watch it at Glamis Stadium during the agricultural show. They used to have a lot of
Do they
equine
sing?
events.
No.
Whose name would they sing? Would they sing the name of the horse or would they sing the name of the athlete? According to you, whose name would they sing? So I don't know. They don't sing. They sit and they clap
and they clap politely. But the part that might interest I think Alois is the part where they mentioned there that they're going to be having a full bar and catering.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. And braaiing and all that.
Yeah, I think so.
That's where Alois will be.
Yeah, more to the braai than to the beer and all that.
Come on, Alois.
I drink only one pint.
We've got our participant back, guys. Brad, good evening to you, mate.
Evening, how's it going?
Oh, finally. Lovely to hear your voice, mate. Brad, welcome to the show. And which team do you support, bud?
The Mighty Reds from Anfield.
The Mighty?
The Mighty Reds from Anfield.
Oh, the Mighty Reds from Anfield. Well done. Good man. Are you happy about the win this past weekend?
Of course, wasn't.
We all are, my brother. We'll be talking about that a bit later in the show. You've got to answer 2 questions and you'll be our daily winner with a chance to get into our monthly draw, and you might just walk away with that Capri gas stove and oven. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, I'm very ready.
All right, Brad. Question number 1. Which Tuskers batsman was the highest run scorer in the domestic T20 with 450-plus scores? I have a multiple choice for you. A, Brian Chari. B, Craig Irvine. Or C, Sean Williams. Do you need those choices again? You're in very bad network, matey.
I think it's Sean Williams.
No. Okay, we're going to give you one more chance.
One more chance, matey.
Where is it?
Hello?
Say again. Okay, very bad network. We're trying to get through this call.
Craig Irvine.
Just in time. Just before we cut you off. Second question: How many times has Warren Gatland won the Six Nations Grand Slam with Wales? Is it A, 3 times, B, 2 times, or C, 5 times?
Oh.
Take a guess, mate. Gamble. Is it 3, 2, or 5?
3.
Yeah! Well done. Brad, the next time I'm going to a betting shop, I'm going with you, my man.
Indeed.
All right, congratulations.
The daily sports trivia question was brought to you by Pro50. Pro50, the performance feed.
Alcohol may be hazardous to health if consumed to excess. The operation of machinery or driving after the consumption of alcohol is not advisable. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18 years.
Castle Lager is more than just beer. It's pure liquid gold, crafted from the finest local ingredients to deliver a taste that is somewhat dry, somewhat bitter, but never sweet. It's the taste that stood the test of time. It all comes together with a castle.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport. All the rivalry.
The captain likes the touch paper. It is blue touch paper. Always him on Derby Day.
All the stars.
Absolutely brilliant again from Mo Salah. The twinkling feet, the ice cool finish, the Egyptian on fire.
And all the game-changing moments.
Aguero!
All the updates from the Premier League on ZiFM Sport.
This is the league we want to watch.
Quick FA Cup update now. Manchester City will face Brighton in the FA Cup semi-finals as they continue their pursuit of a historic quadruple this season. In the other tie, Watford will play Wolves with both semis set to take place at Wembley on the weekend of the 6th and 7th of April. City were made to work for their passage into this year's semi-final, coming from 2 goals behind to beat Swansea 3-2 at the Liberty Stadium. Wolves reached the FA Cup semi-finals for the first time since 1998 as Manchester United was swatted aside 2-1 at Molineux. Nuno Espirito Santo. I didn't write it. I didn't write it.
Oh, it's sure.
Nuno Espirito Santo said Wolves supporters at Molineux helped his side overcome Manchester United.
The FA Cup, the oldest competition there is. And we play well, and we achieve it with amazing support of our fans, pushing us and believing in. And the noise was fantastic. So when you achieve something that I consider that we did it together, we did it with Liverpool, Shrewsbury, was tough. And we did it, but we have to go and prepare ourselves for the next one.
Sure, Wolves, to be fair, Wolves are troubling the best. They seem a very good side, well coached by Nuno Espirito Santo. It didn't go well for Manchester United, did it, Bunch?
Hey, man, it was scary, man.
Scary, why?
You see, Wolves are a good team.
Yeah.
They've been troubling everybody. So when we got in there, for me, I wasn't so sure because we had stammered. We had started in the previous match. So when we were going against Wolves, I knew that we are going to get into trouble if we didn't do well. We were not going to beat Wolves. So I was actually scared for that game. I didn't even watch that game, to be honest. I'm being honest. I'm confessing. I didn't watch. I watched the replay. I watched the replay already. I knew already that we had lost. Right. But it was on my phone. It kept on beeping. People just coming to tell me, you have lost. You have lost.
They didn't let you rest.
They didn't.
But Mike, we look at their record at Molineux. And you got to think to yourself, Manchester United arriving there, they're another statistic, but it's Wolves saying that we're going to turn Molineux into a fortress.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad we picked it out before the season kicked off.
Yeah.
If you remember when we previewed the season and we talked about Wolves, we talked about the business they had done.
Yeah.
We talked about the fact that they brought in world-class players. Yes, some of them may have gone on in age. Guys like João Moutinho, he's the wrong side of 30. But sometimes in a team that's won promotion, you need that because you can't sign the 19-year-old Kylian. You can't sign the 19-year-old Kylian Mbappe, but you can bring in, experienced guys who've won European championships, who've won multiple titles in Portugal, and they can come in and, of course, give the team a backbone. And what the manager also did is that he then kept players like Connor Cody, their captain, who, of course, brings the passion, the heart, that English vim and vigor. That is also crucial because you need that work ethic. Because if you just bring in artists in a team that's just been promoted, it can go the wrong way. You then need, of course, the grafters in there. And he's come up with a very good fusion of grafters and artists. And this team here is in the Premiership to stay. They look like they're going to get even better and better. They're going to be a top half of the table team, and they're going to be a European team very soon. I suspect even as early as next season, they'll be playing for a spot in Europa.
And if you want to be that, what Mike is talking about, basically a staple of the Premier League and also become a European team as you develop, Chris, you've got to sort of have a home base that is impenetrable. And if you look at it, Wolves have won 6 of their last 7 home matches across all competitions. They've only drawn 1, and that's as many as their previous 16 before. They've won 6, drawn 5, and lost 5. So you want Molineux to be that fortress. They're turning it into that, where big guns such as Manchester United can go down.
Absolutely. You need to make a statement, and one of those ways that you can make a statement is to say, you know what, when you're coming over to our side, it's definitely not going to be a walkover for you. And it's going to be interesting to see how they progress in the rest of the season. Not much of it left, but also in the coming seasons to see exactly what it's going to be like.
Nuno Espirito Santo, probably the signing that they need to retain if they're to retain their top talent, because he certainly is coaching a very good football side.
Yeah, he is. I was just about to say that, they might compete now, and we think that, next season they are going to be like that. Their coach might be snipped away.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the danger.
Some more news. Jurgen Klopp insists Liverpool are at the beginning of their development, not at the end, after a massive 2-1 win at Fulham yesterday. So Liverpool went 2 points clear at the top of the Premier League, above second place Manchester City, who have a game in hand following goals from Sadio Mane and James Milner. Ryan Babel had equalised for Fulham after a mix-up involving Virgil van Dijk and Alisson with just 16 minutes remaining. And though Klopp said the game was average, he was overjoyed with the scoreline. Let's hear from Klopp.
It's very often the case that after you play the midweek in the Champions League, that you need a little bit to adjust to the new competition, to the new game, to the different things you have to do. We played Burnley, Munich, Fulham. That's like 3 different kind of sports actually, and so that obviously is difficult. But I thought the start was good. Then we lost the rhythm a little bit. Second half we had enough chances to finish the game off. Didn't do it. So door stays open. Misunderstanding, the 2 big guys, and Babel is there. That's it, and then you have to stay calm. And so now, actually, I like the result more, the 2-1, than the 1-0 before, because coming back then in a situation like that, I think it's fully deserved that we win the game. But of course, was difficult. That was clear before. So, average game, massive result.
Average game, massive results. And Liverpool's actually had a really great week. They've beaten Burnley 4-2 last Sunday. After that, Bayern Munich Champions League. And after that, great draw for them with getting Porto in the draw for the Champions League. Can they continue this? It's international break now. Can they continue this run of form after the international break, Barry?
I reckon, yes, it's always good to go into the international break with a bit of momentum. You don't want to go into the international break with a loss, because you've got 2 weeks to think about it and stew in it. Right now, everything around Liverpool is positive. Hopefully there are no injuries, no concerns, no doubts by the time players come from the international break, and they can continue from where they left.
And Alo, Sadio Mane is on fire. A lot of people look at Mohamed Salah, but Sadio Mane has been having a really good time. And when you take a look at how the media views him, we're not giving him as much credit as he deserves.
Yeah, I think he hasn't, but going forward, I think he has actually cemented his place, and they are taking notice now. And, especially after the Bayern Munich game, that goal was exquisite, and people are now starting to talk. And he did himself a very good favor by actually coming again into this game and continuing. So that is how he is going. Now people from the next games going forward, they'll be looking, they'll be watching, they'll be talking about money.
And the rest of your Premier League results: Bournemouth and Newcastle United drawing 2-2. Burnley going down 2-1 against Leicester City. West Ham with a 4-3 win over Huddersfield. Fulham with a 2-1 loss over Liverpool, and Everton 2-0 against Chelsea.
Paolo Rossi, Marco van Basten, George Weah, Gabriel Batistuta, Alessandro Del Piero. Serie A has been home to some of the world's finest strikers. And now they welcome arguably the greatest of them all, Cristiano Ronaldo, the best of Italian football on Z.
This past weekend saw the Derby della Madonnina, and Luciano Spalletti believes Internazionale have found a striker after Lorato Martinez played a match-winning role in the 3-2 Derby triumph over AC Milan. The Argentinian held his nerve from the penalty spot to give the Nerazzurri a 3-1 lead in the 67th minute and led in the line impressively in the continued absence of exiled striker Mauro Icardi. Icardi was stripped of the captaincy in February and has not featured for Spalletti side since, amid mounting speculation about his future at the San Siro. Now let's hear from football pundit Gabriel Macotti, who says Inter's win was a statement win for Spalletti.
Tremendous game, really had everything, end to end, excitement, drama. You had Frank Kessie and Lucas Biglia nearly getting into a fist fight. You had that on the Milan bench. You had that tremendous goal line clearance from D'Ambrosio, by the way. Notice how he's clearly paranoid about handball. If you notice the way he jumps out with his arms squarely behind him. It had everything, and I think most of all, it had a statement from Spalletti where on his day, he gets his tactics right. He gets the players motivated. They were totally dejected after the Europa League and the Icardi affair and whatever else. And they go out and they get a huge, huge result. Question now is, can they build on it?
The Derby della Madonnina was effectively, of course, a battle for Champions League places. Internazionale leapfrogging Milan into third place in the Serie A table after claiming that victory. And after a very bad week, Barry, where Inter was knocked out of the Europa Cup, they bounced back in this game versus the eternal rivals.
Absolutely, and how? And it looked like there was, certainly in the first half, there was one team at the races, and that was Inter. They came out absolutely guns blazing, and that's what you need to do in a derby. And I think the fans responded in kind because there was a raucous atmosphere there. In the second half, AC Milan came back into it, but you always get the rub of the green if you go out and play attacking football. But both teams, fantastic show.
In other results, Massimiliano Allegri insisted that he did not regret resting Cristiano Ronaldo after Juventus crashed a 2-0 defeat away to Genoa. The Bianconeri were on course for an unbeaten campaign in Serie A prior to the shock defeat at the Stadio Luigi Ferraris, as Allegri fielded a heavily rotated team following his side's midweek heroics in the Champions League. So that quest for invincibility, Alois, is now gone.
Yeah, it's gone. It was their own doing. I'm sure he might say he's not regretting it, but I think he is regretting it, deep down. That we lost something. We lost our invincibility. They would have loved to go all the way unbeaten, but the good side, he rested his players. Of course, they are still happy, from the Champions League victory, and it's good, especially for Cristiano Ronaldo. I think rest will do him a lot of good. They need to play him sparingly in important matches, rest him in the matches that they think they are not as important.
In other matches, second place Napoli moved to within 15 points of Juve after a second half rally helped them to a 4-2 win against Udinese. Claudio Ranieri's Roma side suffered a blow to their top four hopes in Serie A as they went down to a surprise 2-1 defeat as struggling Spal. Quick look at the top of the table in Serie A. Juventus leading the way by a mammoth 15 points, followed by Napoli in second. Internazionale is in third. Milan is in fourth. Roma fifth. And of course their city rivals Lazio in sixth position.
The league that makes football oh so beautiful, where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day, where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic.
It's Lionel Messi!
All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZiFM Sport.
The goal the world wants it!
Barcelona boss Ernesto Valverde admitted the brilliance of Lionel Messi transcends club rivalries after the Argentine superstar received a standing ovation from Real Betis fans. Messi scored 3 superb goals to record his 51st career hat-trick in a 4-1 win that helped Barca open up a 10-point lead at the top of La Liga. After Messi's final strike, a brilliant chip from the edge of the box, absolutely astounding, which went in off the underside of the bar. The home fans at the Benito Villamarin Stadium rose as one to hail the 5-time Ballon d'Or winner. Let's hear from the majestic Lionel Messi.
Well, it's a great feeling. I'm really happy with the way the fans reacted here to their final goal. So I'd just like to thank them. We knew how important this game was. We knew that Atletico Madrid had lost. We knew that we couldn't fail to take advantage of widening our lead. Betis are a great team. They like to have the ball. They can cause problems for you. But I think we dominated the game with and without the ball. So it was almost a perfect game. It was important to finish in this way. Now everyone goes off on the international fixtures. And now we have to prepare ourselves for what's coming.
Mike, I know you installed Scotland as your performance of the weekend. Care to recant?
This was the best individual performance.
Oh, yes. Well done.
Scotland was a key performance.
Good save, Michael. Atletico Madrid's faint La Liga title hopes look to be over after they lost 2-0 at Athletic Club of Bilbao. And Real Madrid are 2 points behind second place Atletico after making Zinedine Zidane's return with a 2-0 win over Celta Vigo.
To the Bundesliga, where James Rodriguez expects Bayern Munich and Real Madrid to open talks over a permanent transfer after his hat-trick inspired the Bundesliga champions to a 6-0 win over Mainz. Bayern bounced back from their Champions League exit at the hands of Liverpool in style, returning to the top of the Bundesliga after Borussia Dortmund had beat Hertha Berlin a day earlier. Alois, do you think he's done enough to stay at Bayern Munich?
I don't know. Maybe good timing for that hat-trick, but I still think they still doubt. They will still have to go down and sit as a board and discuss, not just that for that hat-trick.
All right. Borussia Dortmund captain Marco Reus's stoppage time strike also settling affairs there. The Bundesliga bringing a close to our show today. We'll catch you tomorrow. May God richly bless you. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it. Manandi, out.
Be sure to catch ZiFM Sport every weekday on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.